As in any dystopian narrative, it is warning us precisely about the nature of deepfake. Because if we think about this, when we accumulate these levels of fiction, there comes a point in which truth is lost. So I am Luis Gomez Romero. I am a senior lecturer at the School of Law at the University of Wollongong. Law is permeated by all the culture around it, by the music that we listen, by the TV shows that we watch, and therefore I am reviewing Joan is Awful. That's what I am doing today. So we begin this episode with Joan getting out of bed. We're going to see Joan just going on her day.
You're letting me go? Okay.
So we have seen Joan in her work. She's a middle manager. And she has fired a worker, and then she goes to her therapist. This is addressing issues of loneliness. Joan and her boyfriend find a show that is titled Joan is Awful. It is starred by Salma Hayek, and Salma Hayek looks suspiciously similar to Joan. Joan suddenly realizes that the show is reproducing with some creative additions the day that we have just seen before.
But the show is using my life. It's my name, it's my career, it's me. They're using me, so...
And you assign them the right to exploit all of that.
So here have Joan having a discussion with her lawyer. Her lawyer is explaining her that she basically gave up her privacy and the rights to her image by signing the conditions when she got this streaming service, Streamberry. She has alienated her privacy, she has alienated the rights to her image, to her identity, by signing to the terms and conditions without reading it. That is something that we frequently do. This episode and this narrative is touching on a deep issue of justice, because it is obvious that Streamberry is more powerful economically, socially, politically than Joan is. There is an issue of inequality between the parties that could be addressed. From a human rights perspective, what I can see here is an outrageous violation of Joan's human dignity. Human dignity is a principle that is key, that is central to human rights law. It means it is grounded on the work of Immanuel Kant, and it means that every person should be considered an end in herself, himself, themselves, and not be used as means for ends that they have not consented. This basically means that we decide how we live our lives, and if everything that we do is streamed in the World Wide Web, then this dignity is taken away from us. This is a violation of this principle, a clear violation.
It's not really Salma Hayek. The show deploys a digital likeness of Ms. Hayek. They don't film her. She licensed her image to them.
Salma Hayek's gonna pay this.
Never in my wildest nightmares, I thought I'd see myself defecating in a church.
Well, technically, that's the Joan character, not you.
How
hypothetically, if you did sign something like that contract, but it does violate your human rights, is that contract still valid?
It's good it's still be valid because here in Australia, the protection of human rights is a big patchwork. Australia is party to the main human rights treaties, but under Australian law, these treaties need to be incorporated into domestic law, and this has not been done systematically and completely. This is why there are many areas in which Australia has been criticized for repeatedly and scathingly for human rights violations, for example, in relation to Indigenous Australians or refugees. There are some protections under Australian law. There is an Online Safety Act that was at a Commonwealth level that was enacted in 2021 that is aimed at protecting adults from deepfakes, but in this case she has consented unwittingly, but it seems that she has consented.
That's the variant of Joan is awful that the Joan below you sees when she watches the show. You're not the original Joan.
So this is a fascinating part of the episode in which Salma Hayek and Joan learn that they are actually the first level of a series of fictions that are built one on top of the other. The real Joan is not the actor that we are watching in the episode. She's Annie Murphy. She has alienated her image, and she's representing the real Joan. And it's like this sort of rabbit hole, but as in any dystopian narrative, it is warning us precisely about the nature of deepfake. Because if we think about this, when we accumulate these levels of fiction, there comes a point in which truth is lost. And here we see an individual that is lost in all those levels of fiction when the story is embellished, presenting the real Joan under a very unflattering light, and presenting her indeed as awful when she's just a normal woman going on her day. Then we can see at a personal level how it can impact our lives. But at a community level, it could have terrible consequences. Think about democracy. Think about reporting or demanding accountability from our representatives, from government officials. This is a warning, and a very clever warning, for example, about what is called the liar's device. So people are actually doing wrongful acts and then claiming, no, I'm just a victim of a deep fake. So if we have the principles there, and we can secure through those principles that are established in international human rights law our dignity, our name, our image, then we would also be doing a service for the truth.